from the vault, high atop the pastoral center of the Diocese of Camden, you're listening to Talking Catholic.
Hello, everybody. You're listening to Talking Catholic, the official podcast of the Catholic community of South Jersey, from Hamilton, the blueberry fields of Hamilton, to the shores of Atlantic City, to the cherry blossoms in Cherry Hill. We are coming to you. We are bringing the stories of South Jersey. I'm Pete Sanchez, staff writer, social media coordinator for the Star Herald, and I'm with Mike Walsh, my faithful co-host.
Hi, Pete. Your intro, I was thinking about something. Why are you making people drive so much further? So you start in Hamilton, then you make them drive 30 minutes to the shore, and then you make them drive an hour back to Cherry Hill. Why can't we just start at the shore, go left to right or right to left?
I'm trying to crisscross.
Oh. Why don't you go like from the point of from Cape May Point or Sunset Beach all the way to Atlantic City, down to Bridgeton, over to Pensauken, under the beautiful bridges of the Bend and the Walt.
I thought you were going to say the bridges of Madison County.
I would never say that.
Okay.
Those words would never leave my mouth.
Well, that's good for next time. So I'll go north to south, then east to west.
Or maybe just pick different towns in South Jersey all the time. The more unique and unknown, the better.
Okay. Thank you for the advice, Mike.
Sure.
And if you, like Mike, want to hear other towns represented or with the intro, if you have a problem, let us know. Mike, great advice. But speaking of the shore, Mike, we have something coming up in Cape May. It's going on right now. Yeah. It's ongoing right now till August 16th. Art on the Mall at 525 Washington Street. This is South Jersey Catholic School's inaugural art exhibition featuring very talented young artists. It's going to be till the 16th at Our Lady Star of the Sea in Cape May, one of the most beautiful historic churches in the Diocese of Camden. So there's going to be art, there's going to be paintings, photos, 3D work from what I understand. So it should be really neat.
Yeah, I've seen some of the stuff. I wanted to go down this past weekend, but I ended up running out of time. So I'm going to try and go down hopefully this weekend. If not, then I'm going to make a special midweek ride down just so I can get some photographs of it and put it up on our social media and on the internet. But it's a lovely installation. It's the first time we've done this, as a diocese and as a schools, as a grouping of schools, to really, we have 36 schools in the diocese, and many of them have both fantastic artists in their student body, but as well as their teachers. So this year we're focusing on the students primarily, but we think next year we might even bring it out a little further and showcase some of our faculty artists as well. So the people who are inspiring our student artists. Yeah. But and this is a precursor to the next podcast. I think the next podcast is going to be live from Cape May, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where we'll be at the Art on the Mall. So if you want to come down and visit with us next Wednesday, I think you'll find us milling about in front of Our Lady Star of the Sea. Sometime in the late afternoon.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Just looking for the two handsome guys in glasses.
Yes. So come on out. Again, this is the Art on the Mall at Our Lady Star of the Sea in Cape May. All day. It's going on now till August 16th. So come on out. And from Cape May, we go to Atlantic City for this monthly event that the Franciscan Sisters of the Renewal hold at St. Michael Church, 10 North Mississippi Avenue. It's going to be Light the Fire, the night of prayer, praise, and evangelization. The night begins at 6:15 with Mass and concludes with night prayer at 9:30. And what's interesting, the night will also include going out in teams in the streets of Atlantic City to invite people into the church to pray. So interacting with the community in Atlantic City. This is Friday night, August 3rd. And this is going to be held on the first Fridays of the month. On August 3rd and also September 7th. So if you can't make it out next month, come out in September. Contact the Franciscan Sisters of the Renewal, friends of the podcast, at 609-343-1545.
And Pete, we haven't had any of our sisters, not just our Franciscan sisters, but any of our sisters on it's been almost 6 months, I think, since our
we had
last.
Sister Diane Higgins on.
Yeah, I'm
quite a while.
Yeah, it might have actually been the summer of last year. We are defaulting on our dedication to our beloved sisters. I think we need to get one of our sisters on. Sister Dorothy would be great.
Amen. You know what? I think our guest knows. We'll have to talk. Sister Dorothy knows everybody.
How do you pronounce Sister Dorothy's last name? Does anybody know?
Sure.
It's because she's so ubiquitous as Sister Dorothy. You never use her last name.
Oh gosh.
But she's been in the school system all over the place for years now at Our Lady of Hope Parish or school in Blackwood, and she was just emailing with me today, and I realized, oh man, she would be great on the podcast. So maybe we need to get her on. She spent most of the time making fun of me, but it would be well worth it.
Oh, she does it with me too.
Yeah,
she's fun.
Oh, she's the best.
We interviewed her for the I-Race.
We did, and she
was
bedeviled
on
us
camera.
then. So
we
got to bring her on for a full hour and just let her have at it.
Yeah, so Sister Dorothy, if you're listening, you're always welcome.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll reach out to you as well. Mike, also from Atlantic City, we go to Egg Harbor Township, which is kind of all these things are happening around the same time, same area. Saturday, August 4th, there's going to be having the talk. Talk about how, and the talk about death. How will my family know what I want? What is important to me? What happens if I can't take care of myself? Will I have enough money for my funeral? Should I be buried or cremated? What does the Catholic Church teach us about end-of-life issues? If you have these questions and more, come and join. There's going to be lunch, and it's going to be a free program learning more about aging, end-of-life planning, and what is available to you and your loved ones. Saturday, August 4th, at St. Catherine Drexel, 6075 West Jersey Ave in Egg Harbor Township. And there will be speakers from Catholic cemeteries. There will be a funeral director, pastors. To register for this event, call the parish office, 609-645-7313, or Mila at 609-204-8076. Saturday, August 4th starts at 9:30 for registration, and the program's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
And that's something that nobody really ever wants to focus on or think about. Certainly in the years preceding your passing, but it's honestly one of the most important things you can probably do, and it's honestly a gift to your family to consider it. So if you yourself, or making sure that your arrangements are together, or an older person in your family that hasn't gotten their arrangements together yet. We've had to bury quite a few of my grandparents in the last 3-4 years, and the grandparents who had all their affairs in order and their final directives taken care of, it was a great relief to my mother and my father and their siblings to be able to just know what they wanted to have happen. We earlier on we had grandparents and great grandparents who passed away, and we literally had no idea where anything was or what their true desire was for their final resting place, and how they wanted to be buried or cremated, even what the wake or the viewing would look like, or the mass. I'm pretty sure my wife and her family has it all figured out for themselves. They are very pro-death in the sense that they like to read the obits. They go to every funeral. They go to every funeral mass. I think it's like for you and I going to a sporting event. They are top line. Even 10 years ago, my wife pretty much had it in mind what she wanted her funeral mass to look like. It was going to be a lot of incense and black vestments if we could get away with it. But yeah.
Now, I just read something. This boy was unfortunately killed in I think in Louisiana, and they buried him in his. Well, the viewing was him with the playing. He had a PlayStation controller in his hand. He had sitting in his recliner, his basketball jersey on, his favorite basketball jersey, sunglasses, and a bag of Doritos next to him.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that wasn't a Catholic funeral.
No, it was not.
Okay.
But you're just talking about. But anyway, getting back to.
I have a feeling that'll be a question that arrives as part of this: is what is kosher and what is not kosher in the Catholic faith.
You're talking about what's kosher at a Catholic thing.
Yeah.
So Saturday, August 4th, 2018, at St. Catherine Drexel Parish, Egg Harbor Township. And Mike, who do we have with us today?
I don't know. Just this young priest rolled in. But it was the nicest thing because we've been reading about this young priest and a number of his, now former fellow seminarians. He's been a priest in the diocese for all of a year now. Actually, just what? Almost
just 1 year in
months?
May.
Yeah.
So
Adam Cichoski is with us, and thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me. So it's a great honor, a great pleasure to be here. So
you're continuing the tradition. We like to have the new priests on the year after. We almost never talk to the seminarians, and we don't want to get you guys right afterwards. Get a little seasoning on you.
That's right.
Bring you in now.
You look so hardened.
That's right. After 1 year, so just imagine what next year will be like.
I
might not be able to walk.
You had that baby face before. Now you got the beard going on, man.
Yeah, I know. Every once in a while I let it grow, but I got to shave it off soon. So
summer's the right time.
Yeah, that's right.
Let it go out a little bit. Nice hot day, good heavy humidity, perfect for a beard.
That's right.
See, that is the worst time for a beard.
That is the worst time for a beard. That's why I always cut mine back into a goatee in the summer. That's right. Get my cheeks. A little air conditioning.
Yeah, especially when you get the sunburn or something, then it's all awkward looking. You got these white patches from where you shave.
Well, somebody, I don't know how it works. Somebody was saying if you have the beard, it really protects from sunburn, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, as much as your hair does, but
the rest of your face, if you end up shaving, you're like two-tone for a little bit.
I was just having this conversation. Women have no idea what it's like for us in our beards. They all think it's eady. It's so difficult. We got to put sun management consideration into it.
It's all time consuming.
That's right.
Father Adam, we want to have you on the show. If our faithful readers of the Star Herald don't know, Father Adam and the seminarians did a nice 3 weeks, right?
3 weeks
out in Lourdes, in France, and in Spain, on the Camino. So, when was this trip? This was back in, I think you started in May?
Yeah, right. May 23rd we left. So it was a Wednesday, and then we came back June 14th. So just before the next ordination.
Yeah, and you went with Father Romano, Director of Vocations, who's been on this podcast before.
Yep.
And how many seminarians?
There was 12 seminarians altogether, so 14 of us total.
Wonderful.
And the guys that were in Rome, because of their schedule, they couldn't make it, and the two guys getting ordained, it was just too close for them to be able to make it. So a lot of the guys in the college sem and the major sem were all there.
And so that's up in North Jersey, South Orange, you mean? Or
most of the guys.
Most of the guys there are ICS, Immaculate Conception, up in South Orange. But a couple now are going to be headed to St. Joseph's in Yonkers.
Yeah. That Henry was...
Henry Leja,
Henry Leja, yeah.
And following in the footsteps of our bishop, who went to Dunwoody.
He's a graduate.
Yes. Yeah. In 1972. The year I was born. Don't tell him that. He gets annoyed.
Well, he does listen to this, right?
I like to believe he does.
We'll find out now.
Yeah. If he does. But that, I mean, for our faith, as Pete mentioned, our readers, this is the second year in a row we've done something like this where some of the seminarians have gone over to Lourdes or had taken part in the Camino, but this was the first time it was sort of together that this was done. And so last year, when two of our seminarians walked 500 miles of the Camino,
oh yeah,
and that was
Brian and Steve,
right?
Yeah.
And so anyway, we asked them to write back almost daily. I think it was, and I think they kept it up too. They did a great job of sending us stuff. Just their little thoughts about what the Camino was like. So this year we asked everyone again, every day to be able to send something back to us. So if you look back at the diocesan or the CamdenPriest.org social media, you'll find all of these travelogues with the photographs. And what the seminarians and the priests, Father Adam, you had a submission, right?
Yep.
Okay.
No, I don't think I did. I was lucky.
Lucky? What do you mean? Well, you didn't get lucky because now you got to do an hour-long podcast.
That's right.
So you didn't do it, but you were referenced in it. That's what it was. You were referenced in it.
Hopefully in a good way, I think it was.
Yes.
I
didn't see any
complaining
insults.
about me. Yeah.
And the other priest on the trip, Father Romano, the vocations director, he was also referenced a couple times. Yeah. But sort of from beginning. So anyway, as we talk about this, I would encourage you to go back and really read what some of the seminarians wrote, because it's unbelievably touching. I had an opportunity to talk to Bishop Sullivan about it a little bit, and he was really impressed and touched by their perspective. And when I spoke to parishioners around the diocese afterwards, to a person, they were all like, I have to believe they will make better priests because of the experiences they had at Lourdes in particular. So let's talk about it a little bit. So when did you leave?
Towards the end of May, so on May 23rd, I think it was a Wednesday.
Okay.
And we flew out of New York, so getting there was a good trip, a good 2-hour trip together. And in the beginning, it's kind of like, oh man, we're gonna be this close for the next 3 weeks. You're kind of nervous, but everything really worked out. It was a real blessing, and like you said, with the people following along, and the men really grew together. There wasn't any kind of times where there was any problems or any kind of where you wanted to be away from. The community was a constant thing that it was great to be a part of. So the guys were not only great at writing but also working. They had a good spirit and just a good a sense of things. And as a young priest, it really is something I really admired in them, that they were willing to really go out of their comfort zones, which is so hard at times. And to work with the sick and people that things that we don't usually do, helping people in and out of wheelchairs or into baths, they can be uncomfortable situations.
And that's really what was impressive is you weren't there as sightseers. You were there to work. In particular, the seminarians were there to work in particular. But let's sort of do a sort of in order. So you land in France and spend a little time in Paris?
No, I wish. Only in the airport. Then we were on about a 2-hour bus ride after that to get to Lourdes. So
it's about a 6-hour flight to Paris, 6-7 hours.
Yeah, about 7 or 8.
7 or 8. Okay.
And then so you get to Lourdes, and how quickly were you trained and put to work?
Very quickly. That first day, first night there, many of us were just exhausted after the flight, so a lot of us went to sleep. But a couple of guys went out to the rosary procession. They have a rosary procession every night at 9 o'clock, candlelight rosary procession. And there they do the rosary in different languages, and they have different songs that they sing. And it's a beautiful thing to see, especially in the people in wheelchairs and on these stretchers. They call them vautours, which were like where they were able to kind of recline a little bit while they were being pushed. And it's just a beautiful thing to see. Everybody's holding their candles, and everybody's singing and just praying the rosary together. And so a couple guys did that. And then the next day we kind of were able to adjust to things. So we were able to see around the grotto and see, what we might be doing. We weren't sure totally what we were going to be doing yet. And we signed in. So there's a whole system for this hospitaliers, where it's, been something that's been going on for years and years. And it's a real, it's amazing tradition that, it's all volunteers that work at Lourdes. And everything that happens is really because of them. And it's these men and women from mostly Europe, but a couple Americans here or there would take time off from their work. So they would use their vacation time, their time off from school, to come and volunteer for a week. And it's, just an inspiring thing to see these men and women who have been doing this, some for 30, 40 years, who take 3 or 4 weeks off, every year to come back and to help out. And you really are touched by, the level of just kindness and generosity, not only with their time, but also with, the things that they do for others. They're able to really go above and beyond. And it's just a beautiful thing. So by, the second day, we kind of got introduced to everything. So there's a formation aspect of it as well. Just like in the seminary, they form you over 8 or 7 years to be a priest. Well, this is the same thing. That they don't just kind of throw you in. They introduce you to the spirituality of Lourdes. They take you around, so they you almost become not a tour guide, but you become somebody who knows the shrine inside and out. So where the bathrooms are, where different things are that people will be looking for. Because when they see you, you wear like these straps, and when they see you wearing that with your name tag and it has the languages that you can speak, they come up to you without hesitation to ask, where things are, what time things are happening, and it's just a great place where a lot of wonderful things are happening and continue to happen.
Miracles even.
Yeah, many miracles. There was 70 physical healings that they have been able to pronounce as miracles. But I mean, just the spiritual healings that we saw, left and right, just talking to people and just finding out why they were there or what they came for. And, it's just a very moving experience that, we were blessed to be a part of. So by the third day, we were, getting trained in how to pull wheelchairs and how to push and how to lift people. And these are all things that you kind of like, take for granted that anybody can do it. But there's a specific way that they have, and it's, a way that works well with the things that you have to do, whether it's lifting people out of chairs or into chairs, or they just have a great way of working and making sure that the people are handled with dignity, with respect, and that they're always in good hands. They're never, in that sense of in danger or any kind of problems going on, so that there's always, good people around taking care of them.
And I understand the reading from the journal descriptions, there was a motto, I guess a Lourdes motto, do whatever he tells you. Is that correct?
That's one of the part of the formation aspect of it, and that's you would come back each year. They call it a stage, which would be like a stage. So we were in the first stage of volunteering, and this is the motto of that first stage is do whatever he tells you, because it's the words of our Blessed Mother to the servants at the wedding feast of Cana.
Yeah.
And they're just great things to meditate on and to think about, especially when you're serving, because we know that the Lord is always calling us to work and to do more. And it's finding out where we do things the best and where we're able to be a great help is often, discerning that and discerning, where the Lord might be leading us. And that's why, when the Blessed Mother says, do whatever he tells you to, in Lourdes, it's kind of like, you don't hesitate, just go for it and to try it and to see, and we know, you're just surrounded by people that have been there for years. So there's no real way you can make a mistake. That's one of the hardest things is to, get over that fear, because you don't want to hurt anybody. You don't want to, make anybody feel, without any kind of respect or anything. And, we're all there doing our best to work with the sick. And when we did have questions, we'd have to go to our leaders, who sometimes spoke English and sometimes didn't. So it was almost, some days it was like a chain or a train where you had to go to the guy who could speak Italian and Polish, who would speak to the guy that would speak Italian, who would speak to the guy who could speak English, and it would all come back to us. So some days it was like the telephone,
That's
where
beautiful. I mean, just because then you meet so many more people that way.
Yeah.
And it's almost like that's a beautiful way, designed in some way for that, where you can interact with.
Yeah, and they say that's one of the miracles too of Lourdes, is everybody being able to work together, and because you're bringing different cultures, and a lot of times you're communicating with gestures or and just kind of pointing at things, but it's just a great thing to see, and just the age difference too. There'd be older people, but there are also a lot of younger people that would come from England, from France. They would come on these diocesan pilgrimage because they were a little bit closer than we are. They don't have to worry about the 8-hour flight, so they come on the train, but usually with groups of young people who are the ones that are helping them get to their hotel places, to the hospitals that they're staying at. And we would kind of help when they would come to Mass and things like that. We would kind of take over for them. But, it's just a good range of people that were there.
And I understand you even you gave a homily, reading about on going to your I was going to say your fellow seminarians, but your past fellow seminarians. You even gave a homily about going the extra mile.
Yeah,
what did you share with
one
them?
of the big things, especially because you're in the Pyrenees Mountains, is the I can't think of the name of the flower. There's a song.
I don't know.
It's
how does it?
Let me. It'll come to me. But it's this flower that grows just above the tree line on the mountain, and it's Edelweiss.
Lily.
Oh, Edelweiss.
I don't know the song, but
yeah.
I'm thinking of The Sound of Music. I don't know why.
Is that where it's from?
I
could
don't know. It could. So, and that actually, going the extra mile is a perfect transition to the Camino.
Yeah.
And you did the 500 miles?
No, I wish.
No, or 500 kilometers. What
we
is
did
it?
we did
Yeah, so-
115 kilometers. So.
115.
Yeah,
okay.
you have to do 100 kilometers to get the certificate or the passport saying that you were a pilgrim on the Camino.
That must have been an interesting sort of evolution of your trip to go from the energy and the people and the work being at Lourdes to shifting to, as I've heard it from people who walked the Camino themselves, a great deal more solitude.
Yeah.
You know.
And we would start out, each morning together with prayer before we would begin. And there was it was from me and from Father Mike that we had decided that it would be at least an hour of silence. So if guys wanted to walk together, they were more than, welcome to, but to give themselves just an hour of silence, just to think about the things that we had experienced before in Lourdes and the things that we are still experiencing, especially on the Camino. And some guys were faster, like Father Mike, he just took off. So he would be, he was fast and he was just very in shape for it. Not all of us were, but he did a fantastic job in getting, always, he was always the leader in that instance. So we knew if we didn't see him, that he was probably in the next down. So, but a lot of guys would take your time and would, just enjoy the scenery and the beautiful things that Spain offered. And it's, just amazing to be walking through. And you're walking through all these small towns and villages and farms, and there's cows walking past you. So it's just amazing stuff to see.
And my sister, I was talking with preparing for this, my sister went on the Camino. She thinks about 9 or 10. She doesn't know if it's been 10 years or not, but this is my younger sister. She did 250 kilometers.
Oh, wow.
For 2 weeks with the priest up in Newark and cousins and friends.
Nice.
She called it transformative.
Yeah.
And the idea she talked about walking through Burgos, walking through Leon, towns, and also stopping where you get food and also a place to stay during the night. Was that difficult? Like, how did that work? Did you found a place and then, hey, let's stay here?
No, we had that part planned out. So they always said we were like the fake pilgrims almost, where we had we carried a backpack and stuff that we needed, but we had like our suitcases and all that we had from Lourdes. They would be brought to the next hotel or the place we were staying at on a nice bus. So we didn't have to carry a whole lot, but you did have to carry, your water, your stuff to eat. And it was, still that transformation is a good word because you kind of put your trust in things. We weren't packing like whole meals or anything, but things that you could eat along the way. And then on the way, you'd be walking and there'd be restaurants, but then there'd also be like homes where people would just, put out all kinds of food for a donation. So you could give them a couple euros and get a nice little breakfast, a nice little lunch. And nice, maybe a glass of wine if you wanted. So there's a lot of good people out there, and the people you run into on the Camino too are just as interesting as the group that you're with. And we met people from Ireland, from England, and a lot of them, the same way. That have a different reason for being at Lourdes. They had a different reason for being on the Camino. Some were just there for the adventure. Some were there for the spiritual aspect. Making sure that they stopped at all the big churches. And some were just, trying to discern really what to do with their lives and to, where maybe God was calling them to serve, like after college and after graduating from high school, a couple people that we met. And some families, too, which was interesting to see. Some families walking together, like big families and with young kids. But they were just doing it again, for that transformation experience, just to grow closer and to really experience that. That bond that, you kind of create along the way.
Yeah, I'm curious. Was it a grueling walk? Were there elements that were tough?
Yeah,
or
definitely. It was, if it was all flat, it would have been nice. But
I was gonna ask that.
They make it interesting by putting all these mountains in the way. So you're going up and down, and you get to see some beautiful sights. But I would say that would be the toughest. And it rained almost every day that we were there for part of the day, and that really wasn't a bad thing because it kind of cooled everything down. Because if it didn't rain, it probably would have been just excruciatingly hot, and we would have been sweating the whole time. But here it was like, you had to, put a couple layers on, and, eventually, the rain would die down.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's all right. And, once the rain kind of stopped, you would put your rain jacket away and take everything, because you cover your backpack and everything up.
Is the Camino in particular, I mean, I guess this is really for both, are these experiences you would recommend to any Catholic?
Oh, yeah, definitely, especially Lourdes. Lourdes was just, it does put you out of your comfort zone to kind of, work at their, whatever they need you. You find out your schedule the night before, so it's not like you're, you can plan anything. It's kind of like wherever they need people, they put you in, and we would work together as a group, and that was good. Like, you'd be mixed in with other people, but we'd all be together. And
so, I'm curious. You've now been a priest for a little over a year, and so how does this feel? Okay, so you went through your many years of seminary.
Mm-hmm.
You've had a year under your belt as a deacon. You've had a year under your belt as a priest, and now you've had this pretty remarkable experience.
Yeah.
So I guess I really have two questions. How has your first year been as a priest?
Oh, it's amazing. And one of the priests, Monsignor James Toro, he's just celebrating I think it was 70 years ordained. He's from the Archdiocese of Newark, but he told me during the last couple months, he said, you're going to find out that you're going to enjoy being a priest more than you ever imagined. And I didn't really understand what he meant at that. I was like, it's going to be pretty great. I don't know. And he was exactly right. Like, the things that have happened, the things that, are, that I'm able to be a part of are just, it's hard to express in words, but it's just a great, and a beautiful life. And it's one with its challenges. It's not, every day is going to be a great day, but it's one that, you really wake up, looking for the challenges, looking to overcome them. And, it's something, again, that formation ends after the seminary, but you're never completely formed yet, and I know I still have a lot more ways to grow in, and a lot of things that I need to work on. And it's a great, our diocese has a wonderful program of just making sure that you're with a mentor, that you're with the new priest. There's a group that meet, and it's just a way of sharing our experiences and kind of finding out what others might have gone through and how they've handled it. So,
and if I could, I'm sorry, Pete. You were throwing another curveball early in your priesthood by being almost immediately dispatched to Mexico. Correct?
Yeah, that was a big shock when people would ask, "Where are you stationed?" And I'd say, "Well, I'm going to Mexico." And they kind of thought I had done something wrong and was being exiled for a couple months. But it was another great experience that has truly helped me now with the Spanish. And it's
and so tell our listeners a little bit where you went and why you went.
Yeah. Well, first we went to the Mexican American Catholic College, which is in San Antonio, Texas, and this is a school that they have for priests, for seminarians, for religious sisters and brothers, and it's a way of really getting down the ministerial Spanish, so the things that you would be using, the things that you would be saying. And it kind of introduces you to the cultures, the different cultures, especially throughout Latin America. There are countries that are so close together, but so different when you talk to the people and just see their histories and the things that they celebrate. And they're all beautiful, beautiful cultures. And Texas kind of gets you ready how to say the Mass, different ways of really practicing the Spanish, especially conversation. And then after that, I went to Aguascalientes, Mexico for about 8 weeks. And I got to live at the mother house of missionary daughters of the most purest Virgin Mary. And they're a group of sisters that we have in Bridgeton and Vineland. And they're just wonderful sisters from Mexico and from Texas. And they do a lot with education and reaching out to the youth. And, it was just another great experience where I was able to celebrate Mass with them each day. I was able to work with a couple of the sisters, like on a schooling basis, where I would, go over my homily, go over reading the Gospels. and just really practicing the Spanish that would be necessary in our diocese. And I was also able to work at a parish there, so I was kind of like a part-time, I would say, as much like our parish, the parish I'm at now, Our Lady of Guadalupe, where they have Mass in the morning and Mass in the evening. Yeah. So I would cover a lot of the evening Masses there, and through different times I would experience some of the sacraments, like funerals, not sacrament of funerals, but different experiences, funerals, confessions, and just kind of the general anointing of the sick a couple times, and they were just great ways of trying things, of really putting myself out there and seeing how things worked and what I needed again to work on when I got back. So it was a great starter for me to really be immersed in the culture, to be in the language all the time, and it's just a great way of learning it, and hopefully it gets better. So I know I still have to work on that as well. But, and I'm just thankful for the people at Our Lady of Guadalupe, especially from our Hispanic community. They're so patient and so kind. They're always there to help and to, they understand for the most part, but they're what I would try to get at if I'm not speaking with any kind of notes or anything.
One of the best experiences of the past year involved you and Our Lady of Guadalupe, the festival.
Oh, yeah.
In December, which was amazing. I think the eve of the feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe.
Yeah, at the 11 o'clock.
Exactly, at night. And the music, it's just the devotion. And I was there till 3 a.m.
Yeah.
It lasted all night. There was mariachi band. There was food. The food was delicious.
Yeah, and the food was all donated and made by the people. So it was just...
like right there, you just walked up and it was hot and it was fresh.
Yeah.
And I cannot wait for this year. I mean...
Yeah, they do a great job. Our director of the Spanish ministry, Helen Hernandez, and her husband, Oscar, they do a great job in putting things together. So we have a big celebration for Juan Diego with the danzantes, and then with... the
Aztec dancers
are
there.
The same for... Guadalupe, and the funny thing was after that, we don't get done till 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. By the time everything's cleaned up and put away, and then the next morning we usually have a mass for the kids, the school mass where the mariachis come. But this year, while we were getting ready for the mass at St. Luke's, that's always our morning mass church where we have the morning mass for the kids, and we get a call that there's a bus that just pulled into the St. Lawrence parking lot, and they want to get into the church. So, a couple of us go over, and it was just this mariachi band that just wanted to play some songs for the Blessed Mother for the shrine that we have. So it was just another like crazy, just an experience. They had a coffee and stuff for us afterwards, but just see like this tour bus, just, we're like, first we thought all these people were going to come out. Like, what are we going to do? But then to see, there's just this big group of mariachis playing at 8:30 in the morning.
No, it's beautiful. It's amazing, and they're just dressed so beautifully, and they have their, I don't want to say, they have different names for Spanish guitars.
I forget. Guitarron,
I should know this. The Cuatro. That's more Puerto Rican. It's interesting being Cuban. The devotion in Cuba is Caridad del Cobre. And unfortunately, I don't know too much about what the Cubans do for that, but it's nice, with all these different, Our Lady of Guadalupe, and it's really something to see. Mike, you have to go next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's good food. It starts late though. We actually have a procession too, from downtown Lindenwold to the church. So that starts, I forget, like 8 o'clock. They start with the rosary, and then, it's funny to see that danzantes, the Aztec dancers, are leading us down the way, and you just see people like coming out on their porch, like, what are they doing tonight? It's just, it's amazing.
They, But unfortunately, we're coming to the close of the podcast right now.
Oh, right.
So I know it went very quickly this time.
Very fast.
Yeah.
I was nervous, so I was sweating it out.
Nah, we keep it easy. It's actually my fault that we're wrapping up a little early today because I have to head to another meeting. But thank you very much for joining us.
No, thank you for having me.
You are welcome on the podcast at any time.
Great.
Yeah,
I'd love to come
you got
back.
at least another 20 minutes coming to you. So
and
anytime.
I can talk forever. You might not get rid of me.
Well, that's fine too. That's the beauty of a podcast. We like them to go long. But no, that's fantastic. And anytime you would like to come on to pitch something that's going on, we'd be happy to have you.
Definitely.
So this is wonderful.
Thank you very much.
And unfortunately, we'll have to skip 1 year of our tradition since next year we don't have any priests lined up, but we have 3 seminarians that'll be becoming deacons next year, and God willing, we'll have 3 new priests 2 years from now. So we're
praying for more vocations.
That's right. But you get to be the rookie for an extra year.
No, well, we got the 2 new guys now.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. What am I talking about? Those
I was
going to
say you forgot about Anthony and Josh.
Never. I won't forget about those. That's right. But anyway, that's right. We get to have them on next year. That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
That'll
my
be
bad.
great.
And how could I forget them? We just had the ordination. So they're such wonderful guys.
Yeah. Sorry, Father Anthony and Father Josh.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, thank you again for joining us. We really appreciate it. And we always like coming out to the parish shrine. So by all means,
Yeah, come on out. We look for our signs. We have some yard signs out there helping with our evangelization. So there's something that Father Vince had just started. So putting them out on people's lawns. We have it bilingual. So all are loved, all are welcome at Our Lady of Guadalupe. So stop on by to the shrine, say hello to our Blessed Mother, and feel free to stop by and see either me or Father Vince as well. So
that's right. Well, we love talking to Father Vince too. So that's a great parish for us. Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for listening, Peter.
Thank you, Mike.
No problem. It's been great, Father Adam. Thanks for joining us.
No, thank you guys.
All righty. Take it easy, listeners. We'll talk to you in a week.